So, what's going on? We've got week 1, workout number 1. This is day 1 of our test week. This entire week, we are going to be testing our 5-rep max. So what does that mean? That means how much weight can you lift, the heaviest you can lift, for 5 clean and crisp reps, unbroken, like they're one set. So before we get going there, we've got a few different parts to go for. Part 1, you have low-intensity, steady-state cardio. Whether you're going to use a rower, a treadmill, a bike, or the road itself, it is up to you. The whole point here is not to go intense, not to bring your effort level above a 5 out of 10. I want you to keep it nice and low. We're going to go for 3 to 5 minutes. Now, whenever I do this myself, I have a really, really bad attention span. So rather than going for 3 to 5 minutes on one exercise, I'll typically go for a 60-second jog around the block, come back in, go on the rower, get on the treadmill, put it on an incline, whatever you've got. Just keep your body moving for 3 to 5 minutes at a nice, slow, and steady pace. Whole purpose behind that is just to get the heart pumping, the blood flowing, so that when we go to do the next part, you'll be ready to go. Part 2, you're going to see I've plugged in this mobility video. I want you to do this full body mobility every single day you enter the HEF Training App. By the time we're done with this 6-week program, you should know this mobility flow off by heart. You know exactly what's coming, and try your best to do it. I promise you this, I've been doing this multiple times a day, and I have not got the sore pains and nags that I typically had if I don't. So just trust me, this is going to work. So that mobility, once you're done, today you have a lower body activation and prep workout video to follow along with. Now that's going to have a band. You're going to just do all your good stuff, so press pause and go ahead and do that. Now when you're done there, then we're going to move on to part number 3. Now this is where the fun really begins, right? Actually, part number 4. This is where the fun really begins. This is your 5-rep max for a front squat. Now, I don't care if you use double kettlebells, double dumbbells, or a barbell. Whatever tool you use, the one ask I have from you is that whatever tool you use today, you make sure that you use that same tool on week number 6. We're going to be retesting the same exact movement on week 6, so it matters what tool you use. The goal here is to obviously improve in strength. So, I use double kettlebells just because I figured that's what majority of you will be using if you've been following me for a while. So I decided to go over to my rack, and this is something I want you to know. Whether you have a barbell or dumbbells, start light. And I know that our goal is 5 reps, but I want you to do some warm-up sets of 2 to 3 reps. Start really light, put them down, then increase in weight, put them down. Whenever you feel like you're getting close towards that goal weight that you're trying to hit, and you'll know as throughout your warm-up sets, then I want you to rest 2 minutes before you begin for your 5-rep max. Now remember, it must be unbroken. So here we go. If we're using kettlebells, both kettlebells are going to be on the floor, or if you need to put them onto a box because you can't clean them up, that's totally fine with me. I'm looking for your 5-rep max, not your max rep clean, okay? So I'm going to stand behind the bells. I'm going to soften my knees. I'm going to karate chop and hinge my hips behind me. If you cannot reach, don't worry, just bend your knees slightly. From here, I'm actually going to turn my thumbs under so that my thumbs are pointing to the back of the room. Now, just to show you from the side, here we go. Locking in those shoulders, depressing them down nice and tight, keeping the core tight, hike them between the legs, thrust your hips, and keep them in your front rack position. Now, from the front, my fists are nice and straight. They're facing the ceiling. What we don't want is a broken wrist. We want a nice flexed wrist. From here, you want your forearms to be almost perpendicular to the ground, keeping the kettlebells nice and close to your body. Now, we don't want a chicken wing. This is going to come in real hot. Try not to do that. Keep them nice and tight. Now, from the side, what I'm looking for is a full range of motion. So what does that look like? Hips go back and down till my hip crease just breaks that knee level. If it's below, cool, but we want a nice straight back. Drive up through the heels, reset. Inhale, exhale, and remember, we're going to be going for 5. If your reps start to look like this, that doesn't count. Whenever you're done with your 5, put them down, give yourself a high five, and then relax before we start our 5th section of today's workout. So don't forget to comment below with whatever weight that you used. This is a great reference point for you in case you forget, which there's a lot of work that comes in between here and there. And only week 1 and week 6 are we doing the 5-rep max. So in between, we're going to do a whole bunch of other shit. So either write it down or comment below with what weights you were able to use. If you're using dumbbells, same thing goes. Boom. They're in the front of your body. Try not to lean them on your shoulders, or if you do the same and write that note below. Or you can go palms facing you, keeping them nice and close to the body. Again, range of motion remains the same. If you're using a barbell, imagine I have a barbell right now. We want to make sure that your elbows are up unlike the dumbbells or the kettlebells. So when they're up, they're like the headlights of a car, keeping that barbell rested right here on your deltoid. Hips go back and down, break that hip crease past parallel, and what do I mean by that? This is my hip crease, this is my knee level. You see that line? We want to keep it at the same level or below. If we're here, it's not a full range, okay? So that's that. Whenever you're done there, we're then going to move on. Let me put this weight away. You're going to need a slam ball, a resistance band, and one kettlebell. Maybe, actually, there's no way you're going to want to use the weight that you used for the 5 rep max. So here's the deal, okay? Whenever we go for this, I want you to see that I'm using a load that I can hold on to the entire way through. In fact, I used between a 26 and a 35. I did not try and go any heavier. So let me explain the way the workout works first, and then I'll show you the movements. You have 25 minutes to try and complete 6 rounds. 5-5, 6-6, 7-7, 8-8, 9-9, 10-10. Now, what I was referring to right now is the seesaw lunge with a clean. That is the only moving target. All of the other exercises underneath, the 10, the 20, and the 30, they remain the same. The reps do not change. So round 1, you will start with 5 seesaw lunge cleans on the right, 5 seesaw lunge cleans on the left, 10 slam ball toss over the shoulder, alternating which side you toss it over, 20 shin hugs, and 30 banded frog pumps. So let me show you those moves. If we're going to be holding on with the kettlebell, if we want to start with the right leg, let's go ahead and start on that right side. So if I'm holding on the kettlebell with my right hand, my right foot is going to go back. I'll break it down to begin, and then I'll show you a little bit smoother. So right here, reverse lunge all the way. Whoopsie. Stand up and clean. Forward lunge, reset. That was 1 rep. Now, once you get the understanding and the movement pattern there, you can make it nice and smooth, like so. Reverse lunge, clean into that front lunge. Reverse lunge, clean into that front lunge. Now, if you need more of a help on your kettlebell clean, go ahead into the database that we have up top, instructional and demonstration. Go check out that kettlebell clean because I break it down in depth. Now, that was 5 on the right. Then you go 5 on the left. That would be the first set, okay? First round. Then you have 10 over-the-shoulder tosses with your slam ball. So I'm going to straddle my slam ball. Right underneath me, I'm going to squat down and pick it up. As I stand up with my legs, I'm going to toss it over my shoulder. Turn around, toss it over the opposite shoulder. We're going to be right here for 10 reps total. Whenever you're done, you have 20 shin hugs. What does that look like, Hannah? Well, you're going to lay on the floor. Ooh, not on top of your kettlebell, though. Once you're laying down on the floor, hands are behind you, feet are flat on the floor. I want you to imagine that you have that slam ball in between your knees and you're gripping so you don't lose stability in the hips. Touch the floor behind you. Come up. Bring your shoulders to your knees. Control the way back down. Don't just slam your body. 2. Inhale. Exhale. We're going for 20 here. Woo! When you're done, which I actually did this workout, and by round 3, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to put the band around my knees now. And then it stayed there throughout the entire time I was doing shin hugs, so then I could go straight into frog pumps. So why do I have this band? To create tension. So I'm going to have external rotation in my hips, so my knees are nice and wide. I don't know really if a frog looks like this, but we call them frog pumps. I've got my toes and heels together, or you can keep your feet flat on the floor. The closer your heels are to your butt, the more glutes you're going to engage. The further away they are, the more hamstrings. I'll let you be the chooser of that, okay? So I'm going to lay down. I've got my knees nice and wide. I've got my feet close to my butt. I like to bring my chin to my chest, looking through where the band is on my legs, gazing my eyes forward. Elbows are about 45 degrees away from my rib cage. And now from here, while keeping my knees out, I'm going to squeeze and open up my hips. Come back down, squeeze, squeeze. We are going for 30 reps. What we don't want, and I'll show you from the side here, and I'll move my hands, is this, where you start to hump the air. You see in my spine, it's starting to bend. I'm arching my back, and then I'm thrusting my hips. What I want to do is imagine that I'm doing a deadlift. So from my sternum to my tailbone, everything moves together in one straight line. So think about this. When you do a deadlift, we're not going like this, right? We're actually have a nice straight back, and we're hinging our hips back and forth. That's the same idea that I want you to do for those frog pumps. Once you're done with that round, you get back up and you repeat the same thing all over again, but rather than 5 and 5, you go 6 and 6, 10, 20, 30, 7 and 7, 10, 20, 30, all the way until you reach 10. Or however far you can get in the 25 minutes. This is so exciting. Workout 1 in the books, baby.